All right, let's get into it. If you've ever looked at a dirt trail and thought, I want to ride that, but then got kind of lost in all the different types of bikes and riding styles, you are in the perfect spot. Today, we're going to be your trail guides, helping you navigate the awesome world of mountain biking to find the path that feels just right for you.
So that's the big question, right? Which one is for you? You hear all these terms thrown around: cross-country, trail, enduro, downhill, and it can honestly feel a little overwhelming at first. But trust me, we're going to clear all that up. By the time we're done here, you'll have a much clearer picture of where you fit in.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to break down the 4 big foundational styles of riding. Then, we'll check out some of the more niche, specialized trails for those unique adventures. After that, we'll give you a kind of compass, a way to figure out your own direction. And finally, we'll talk about picking that first destination. Sound good? Let's drop in.
Okay, let's start with the big 4. These are really the cornerstones of mountain biking. Pretty much every other style is some kind of variation or blend of these. If you get a handle on these 4, you'll understand the whole landscape.
First up is cross-country, or what everybody calls XC. The easiest way to think about this is like the marathon running of the mountain bike world. It's all about pedaling efficiency, covering a ton of ground, and powering up climbs as much as you fly down them. The bikes themselves tell the whole story. XC bikes are crazy lightweight. I mean, they almost feel like they could float away. They have very little suspension because every single pedal stroke is meant to push you forward, not get absorbed by the bike. They're built for pure, raw speed and climbing like a goat. So who is this for? Well, if you're the kind of person who genuinely loves that heart-pumping, lung-burning feeling of a great workout, and you get a real sense of accomplishment from seeing how many miles you can rack up, XC might be your jam. Okay, next up is trail riding. And if XC is the specialist marathon runner, then trail riding is the amazing all-around athlete. This is, hands down, the most popular style of mountain biking out there, and for a really good reason. It's the jack of all trades. Trail riding is all about balance. Yeah, you gotta pedal up the climbs, but you're rewarded with super fun, flowy descents that can have a good mix of roots, rocks, and small features. The bikes are designed to do everything pretty well. They're not the absolute fastest up the hill, and they're not the burliest on the way down, but they are capable and just plain fun almost anywhere you take them. Honestly, for most people just getting into the sport, this is the perfect place to start. It lets you taste a little bit of everything: the climbs, the descents, the technical bits, so you can figure out what part of the ride you love the most. But what happens when you find yourself just tolerating the climbs to get to the real prize, the downhill? Well, my friend, you might be an enduro rider. With enduro, the scales tip heavily in favor of the descent. The whole philosophy is you gotta earn your turns. You pedal all the way up a mountain just so you can absolutely charge back down. And the bikes show it. They have way more suspension to soak up huge rocks and drops. They have what's called aggressive geometry, which basically means they're longer and slacker, making them super stable when you're going fast on really steep, chunky terrain. The climb up might feel like a bit of a slog, but the reward on the other side is totally worth it. So, if you're a trail rider who's starting to seek out the roughest, fastest, most challenging descents you can find, enduro is probably the natural next step. It's for anyone who loves that feeling of pushing their own limits. And that brings us to the absolute extreme end of the gravity-fed spectrum: downhill riding. With downhill, or DH, pedaling uphill isn't just secondary, it's completely taken out of the picture. The one and only goal is to get from the top of the mountain to the bottom as fast as you possibly can. Period. And here's the game changer. You don't pedal up. You take a ski lift or a shuttle truck. This means the bikes can be absolute monsters. They're heavy, with enormous amounts of suspension designed for one thing and one thing only: absorbing massive impacts from huge jumps and drops at blistering speeds. Let's be real. This is pure adrenaline on 2 wheels. It's for the rider who lives for that feeling of flying through the air, navigating terrain that looks impossible to walk down, and who understands that with that kind of reward comes a much higher level of risk. So you can see, we've basically just mapped out the 2 opposite poles of the mountain biking universe. Over on one side, you have cross-country, which is all about endurance, fitness, and pedaling efficiency. And on the complete other side, you've got downhill, which is 100% pure, gravity-fueled adrenaline. Trail and enduro, they live in that awesome, fascinating space right in between.
Now, beyond those main 4, there are a few other really cool styles for riders who are looking for something a little different.
You've got freeride and bike park riding. This is all about style, tricks, and creativity. You're not really racing a clock. It's more about hitting perfectly built jumps, flowing through massive banked turns called berms, and just playing on your bike. Think of it like a skate park, but on a mountain.
Then there's gravel riding, which kind of blurs the line between a road bike and a mountain bike. This is for the true explorer, the person who wants to connect pavement, fire roads, and mellow trails into one giant epic adventure. Here, it's all about the journey itself.
And you can't forget fat biking. I mean, look at those tires. These bikes are absolute beasts, designed with huge, oversized tires that let them float over terrain that would stop any other bike in its tracks, like deep snow or soft sand. It literally opens up a whole new world of places and seasons to ride.
Okay, wow, that is a lot of different options, I know. So the big question remains, how do you actually choose? Well, let's give you a sort of internal compass to help you find your true north.
I want you to take a second and be really honest with yourself on these. First, what part of the ride really gets you excited? The burn in your legs on a long climb or the rush of a fast descent? Second, why do you want to ride? Is it for a killer workout, a pure adrenaline rush, or just to get out and explore new places? Third, this one's huge. What do the trails near you actually look like? And finally, do you want one bike that can kind of do it all, or are you ready to go all in on one specific style?
But you know what? At the end of the day, after all the definitions and categories, this is the only thing that really, truly matters. Don't get so hung up on the labels. The best style of mountain biking for you is simply the one that puts a huge smile on your face and makes you excited to get back out on the trail again.
Everybody's journey is a little bit different, and honestly, figuring out what you love is half the fun. Your adventure is out there, just waiting for you. So the only real question left is, which trail are you going to take first?